Kenya Bureau of Standards Managing Director Charles Ongwae has told the parliamentary committee that there are no traces of mercury in impounded sugar that has so far been sampled. Appearing before National Assembly's Trade Committee alongside Principal Secretaries of Trade and East African Affairs, Ongwae says that there are investigations continuing in Machakos and Kitui, and also says that the director of Ongwae's position matches that of Trade CS Aidan Mohamed, but sharply contradicts that of Interior CS Fred Matiang'i and the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti, who insists that the war on counterfeits has revealed poisonous sugar in the country. Stephen Leto has been at Parliament, and Leto, I know this is confusing to hear different messages from different departments of the same government. What is the truth according to those you have listened to today?
Indeed, this is worrying, Gituku, because if you get contradicting statements right on the floor of, before a parliamentary committee probing such a weighty matter, then it's something, it tells you that really there could be a serious problem in terms of what sugar is in the market. And at the moment, like you've seen during our live coverage of the Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industries and Cooperatives, chaired by Kanini Kega, probing that matter, painted a picture of, a contradiction between what we get out there and what has been told, has been presented before the committee. Because already you had the director, the managing director of the Kenya Bureau of Standards, Charles Ongwae, saying that there was no traces of mercury that was found in the tested sugar samples, but there were traces of copper and lead that were that their laboratories have found out, or they failed test. And the Ongwae telling the committee that there is a limit set for copper to be, in sugar, and according to the standard, it is required that 2 milligrams of copper should be in every 1 kilogram. But what was tested is 20.7 milligram of copper was found in those samples that was tested in every kilogram, and that is what the committee has been told is dangerous. And one interesting thing also that we say that Ongwae has told the committee is that the of standard did not test the sugar that has been impounded, because they did not get to know how that particular sugar got into the country, and that laying blame squarely on the KRA as well as those agencies that are manning the border points, because they say every single test that is done at the country of origin as well as at the border points. But this impounded sugar was not tested at the border point because it got into the country without KEBS noticing that. And so the probe is ongoing. The PSs are also there, the trade PSs are, of course, and the EACPS is also present in that committee. But one thing that has caught the committee's eye is the contradiction between who tested the sugar that Interior CS Fred Matiang'i has now termed as to contain mercury. But KEBS is saying that they did not test a report to the investigation. What the Interior Cabinet Secretary and the DCI are relying on in terms of telling the country that there is there is mercury and copper in the samples is a report that was done by a separate body. Remember, there are several bodies that can do the test, including the national chemists as well as the universities. And until this moment, KEBS says it is continuing to interrogate to see who conducted the test and presented a report to the DCI and to the Office of the Interior saying that there is mercury in the market. And one last thing, Gituku, is KEBS has already said that their test has confirmed that there is a test of copper and lead, and that sugar has since been recalled. Again, they do not know when and how this sugar is going to be recalled, because they say they are still following leads on where that sugar has been deposited, or which markets that sugar is being consumed countrywide. And so the committee is still prosecuting that matter right now. And as and when they are done, they will be reporting to see what all significant agencies as well as go what agencies that has been labeled. But one of the sugar that is supposed to be recalled is the KEBS sugar, because they say the sugar that was impounded in Thika, for example, were found they were found packaging it in KEBS packages, and so that is one of the sugar that KEBS say it is eyeing to ensure that it is recalled in the market, and it could be dangerous for consumption. And so that, of course, is the first batch of the probe on the sugar contraband. But going forward, Gituku, is they will be holding a joint committee of trade, industries and cooperative by Kanini Kega, as well as the committee on agriculture, as ruled by the speaker yesterday. And so these sittings will, the joint sittings will kick off Monday. Now the two committees will be putting their heads together and doing a joint invite to all the relevant agencies, including 4 cabinet secretaries: Mwangi Kiunjuri, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Henry Rotich of Treasury, as well as Aden Mohammed of Industrialization. Gituku.
All right, thank you so much, Stephen Leto. Of course, you're having some challenges with your phone call, but please continue finding out on how widespread that sugar is across the country for the sake of our viewers.